let's talk about celebrating Advent. So tell me, what comes to mind when you hear the word?
Well, oddly enough, the first thing I think of is how we all get together on the first Sunday of Advent for breakfast as a community. It's also sort of combined with the church service. And I just remember as a kid waiting outside the doors of the dining hall, listening to the Christmas brass music, and just that sense of excitement and beauty and the smell of fresh pine in the air. It was really a highlight for me.
It is, and of course, because of COVID this year, we had to celebrate it separately in our families, and then we dialed into a church service together. So, but it was still a beautiful experience. But bringing it back a bit earlier on, the night before the first of Advent, a group of young people will go from house to house in the community, singing Christmas songs and bringing lighted candles for the kids. There's a song, I don't know about you, I always associate with it. It's a Swedish carol called Now Light 1,000 Christmas Lights. And it's just a wonderful way to mark the beginning of this season of light coming into darkness.
It's a really beautiful tradition that goes back to the beginnings of our community when the young mothers did that for their children. It's also German, I believe. So the first of Advent breakfast, as I was saying earlier, is a really big deal, and it's a time when we'll hear the Christmas prophecies from Genesis, Micah, of course the book of Isaiah and Jeremiah, as well as others. Then after that, we do a ton of singing, with songs being suggested by the kids. There's always this really long line trailing down the aisle of the dining hall with kids, and they're suggesting songs that we have from this big anthology of Christmas songs. And by the end of it, we're all just completely hoarse.
Yeah, and a lot of the kids will suggest the same songs,
Right.
So there'll be multiple suggestions for one thing, and we'll often have to just do one verse of a song just to get through this enormous list.
Sometimes that's a bit of a relief.
Yeah, it's a huge relief, especially the epic long
Right.
carols. Anyway, another part of that, every Advent will have the communal Advent calendar countdown to Christmas, which gets opened every day by one of the kids. And it's different every year. And this year, because of COVID, it's a treasure hunt around the community, which is a really kind of creative, cool idea. So every morning the kids will call into a number, and they'll get a clue about where the next calendar piece is. It's a piece of painted artwork, like an angel or a shepherd cut out of a board, right? And then there'll be this herd of kids just running all over the place looking for this thing. So very fun. And then also every Sunday, another candle will be lit on the wreath in the communal dining hall. So 4 candles in all before Christmas.
Yes. So, Rich, we should actually talk about some resources people can check out, which we use during Advent, since we really care about Christmas and we have just a wealth of resources. So my recommendations are all from the Bruderhof publishing house, Plow Books. I'll start out by recommending an anthology of Christmas stories, Home for Christmas, which was compiled by Bruderhof member Miriam LeBlanc and contains some real gems.
Yeah.
I have to say my personal favorite is an Austrian tale of a portly little woodcarver with a comical name. The correct way to pronounce it is Willibald Krautmann. I would think that most Americans would say Willibald Krautmann. And the story is called Willibald's Trip to Heaven and literally illustrates how pride goes before a fall. But as with any Christmas story, there is redemption of an unexpected nature too. And I remember my dad reading this story with, I guess you would say, an Austrian accent. And I still recall the first line. It goes like this: Willibald Krautmann and Christmas, those two things go together, like a door and its hinges, like a clock and its face, like a bell and its tower.
It really is a beautiful story, and pretty funny too. Terrifying for kids, parts of it.
Yeah, well, just...
There's a descent into hell or something.
Right, but there is redemption, as discussed.
There's another Bruderhof anthology of stories that's a little older, but also very cool. Behold That Star, which is one I grew up on, and you can still get both of them. And if you're looking for a book of readings for Advent of a more serious nature, check out Watch for the Light, which has selections from authors like Dorothy Day, C.S. Lewis, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and many others. I'm also going to recommend When the Time Was Fulfilled, which is a collection of meditations by Bruderhof founder Eberhard Arnold, and then also the Jesuit priest Alfred Delp, which we mentioned in the first video, and then German pastor Christoph Blumhardt.
And if you love Charles Dickens, like I believe we both do, but you're kind of bored of A Christmas Carol, you can find some really heartwarming selections in the recently released The Gospel in Dickens, edited by Gina Dalfonzo. She's really a Dickens enthusiast as well. The final recommendation I can give you, if you live close enough to the Woodcrest Bruderhof in Riften, New York, is to come to our Christmas drive-through on December 12th and December 19th. This is really a one-of-a-kind experience that we are pioneering this year. If you show up, you will be treated to not only a live nativity, but also Santa Claus will make an appearance. You'll see some shepherds and angels and a lot more. I don't want to give any spoilers. If you can't make it, we'll be posting a video of it around that time as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I plan to be spending some time with the shepherds because I hear they'll be roasting chestnuts around a fire. But I also want to be part of the live Christmas caroling choir, put on my muffler and scarf, see if I can dig one up. And if you live by our other communities, some of them are also planning COVID-safe events for their neighbors, so feel free to inquire. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.